Hello, viewers. This is Dr. Athar Mansoor from TRACS. So recently, Mr. Donald Trump of the United States of America has passed an executive order regarding H-1B visa. This visa is considered to be one of the tools of the American government to attract global talent in some fields. And Mr. Trump, with one stroke of pen, has enhanced the fee of this visa multiple times. So it's not just about doubling or tripling or quadrupling, but he has done it into it. It has exponentially gone into a number which is kind of which seems to be mind-boggling for everyone. And people are talking about this visa and its implications for the US and the world at large, and specifically India. India is in the limelight because the Indian talented workers are are in quite a large number in the US market. Anyways, so I'm not an expert on it, but I thought that I would invite Mr. Daniyal Zahid, who has done previously many videos with me, including his experience of working at Fortune 500 companies in the US, and also how he used LinkedIn to find great jobs in the US. He is a graduate of the Bush School at Texas A&M University. So, Daniel, thank you so much for joining for this important video.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me.
Right, Daniel. So you have lived in the US, you have studied in the US, and you have worked in the US. So basically, this H-1B visa, I gave the viewers something as far as preliminary information is concerned, but I think more needs to be given in terms of what this visa is and what are the features of this visa and what Mr. Trump has done. So please first tell us what this visa is. Can you tell us the details of this visa?
Sir, so the H-1B visa is a work visa that is meant for foreign talent that has specialized degrees in fields like medicine, engineering, technology, and other specific roles. Employees are basically able to sponsor professionals via this visa, and help them bring in the country. So a lot of foreign talent with highly advanced degrees are able to get employment in the country via this visa. So this is a very important visa for people who want to work in the US. Now I want to give you a little more detail. The top five companies that offer H-1B visas are Amazon, Indian company Tata, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Google. So most of them are all billion-dollar companies. It is also important to let you know that the H-1B visas are capped at 85,000 applications per year, which means that when this number, the number after 85,000, no more visas are issued. Now, Indians get the overwhelming majority of these visas. They are the recipient. 70% of all H-1B visas are granted to India. For last year, I can tell you the stats. Out of 400,000 visas that were issued, 280,000 visas were issued to India, which constitutes 70%. The next chunk goes to China, which is only 11%, and only 45,000 visa recipients. Next is Philippines, Canada, and South Korea. So you see, Indians get the lion's share of H-1B visas. It is also important to tell the audience that Donald Trump, even during his first tenure, was against this H-1B visas. He called it a visa that was highly misused. He, under his first tenure, the rejection rate for these visas was 24%. Now, if you compare them with Democrats like Biden and Obama, the rejection rates was only 5 and 6%. So, as I will explain later on, Trump has issued an executive order which has basically the chances of refusing H-1B visas has gone up significantly.
Right, Daniel. Thank you so much for explaining in detail the features of this visa and who are the main recipients. So, India, as you have pointed out, is getting about 70% of the quota. The total you say is around 85,000 per year, and around
Correct.
70% are gone to the Indians, and about 11%, which is only about 4,500 go to the Chinese. Anyways, Daniel, there is also a lot of confusion about the details in terms of payment. So some people say that 100,000 are the upfront, plus every year 100,000 would be given by that company. And some say no, it's just the 100,000. So can you please explain the confusion and other confusions also? So can you please help us remove those confusions?
Yes, sir, that's a very good question. Actually, when this order was issued on 19 September, now keep in mind this is a presidential order, executive order. This can be challenged in courts. It's not an act passed by Congress. So there was chaos and confusion everywhere. Little details were given about this order. Now, initially, it was said that $100,000 was applicable every year. So keep in mind that the H-1B visa is issued for 3 years, and it is issued via lottery system. So luck plays an important part. So when a company sponsors for an employee, they have to pay 100. Initially they used to pay $1,500, but now this fee has increased to $100,000. So this is now clarified that this is not going to be a yearly fee, but a one-time fee. When this order was issued, people were given just 2 days to return back to the US. So the companies told their employees, whoever was outside the US, to come back in. I personally know people who paid $8,000 to get back to the US in one day. So there was a huge cost involved in it. Then there was this confusion that when will this order implement? Will it be implemented straight away, or will it be implemented from next year? Now we have gotten more clarity that it will be implemented from the next cycle, which is going to be February 2026. So there's confusion still everywhere about the yearly fee. Then there is also speculation because, as I mentioned, Google, Apple are the highest recipient of H-1B visas. Then there is a rumor that that these companies might get an exemption from H-1B visas because they are very influential and they're considered close to Trump. But then again, if these companies are granted exemptions, then what is the purpose of this rule? So there are still a lot of issues going on with this rule, and as I mentioned, this is an executive order. It can be challenged in courts. So as of now, this is on a very shaky basis, but it is being implemented. So it remains to be seen how we proceed going forward.
Right. So thank you, Danal, for removing these misconceptions and ambiguities and confusion. So it is only 100,000 US dollars, and it's an executive order, viewers, which means that it can be challenged, and it is not an act passed by the Congress of the US. Anyways, moving on to my third question, Daniel. I think H-1B visa was seen as a bridge or a connection between the American dream and the Indian dream. And as you have, again, at the cost of repetition, as you have mentioned, that about 70% through lottery system were issued, 70% of the visas were issued to the Indians, which means that it's a big number. Every year, Indians used to go to the US to fulfill to chase their American dream, or maybe Indian dream was to chase the American dream, and American dream was to let the Indian dream come there, right? So it was kind of a bridge between the dreams. What do you think? So is it going to affect it, and is it going to negatively or adversely affect it, or what in your opinion are going to be the repercussions?
Sir, so rightly you pointed out that H-1B connected both the American dream and the Indian dream. The Indian dream, because obviously small-time coders who were in the US, they wished to go to the US, earn big money, become successful, and via the H-1B visa, it was the primary opportunity for them to utilize the skill and talent and get employed in large companies and send remittance back home. So this was the American dream for Indians. For Americans, the H-1B visa provided skilled workers to the US, talented, specialized workers who are able to maintain US dominance. Now, as you know that 6% of executives that are employed by Google, Microsoft are all Indians. So for Indians, it was an opportunity to come to the US and become successful. And for the US, Indians were a vital supply of talent that helped US become the economy that it is right now.
Right, right. Okay, so Daniel, my last question: who do you think is going to suffer more, the US or India?
Sir, so the logic that Trump and his supporters use is that this visa was misused Foreign workers do jobs in the US while the US workers remain unemployed. Now, this is highly debatable because we all know that they are American people have certain skill sets. Foreign workers have specific skill sets. So, just saying that this visa was abused, I think, is controversial. I will, with facts, spell out my opinion, and I probably think that the US has more to lose in India, and I'll explain why. First of all, this H-1B visa doesn't make a lot of sense because the median salary of people who work on H-1B visa is 94,000 when they start. Now, when you're putting a cap of $100,000 on their entry, it doesn't make sense for companies to sponsor any foreign talent. So, for starters, I don't agree with this notion. Then, secondly, sir, I'll talk about tech and medical sector. 80% of all computer jobs are Indian, go to Indian nationals. Secondly, India is the largest source of medical graduates in the US. 22% of doctors in the US are Indian nationals. Last year, 8,000 H-1B visas were given to Indians who work in the medicine and surgery sectors. Now, technology and medical are sectors that are highly competitive and highly specialized. And US is competing with China on both of these sectors. Now, if the H-1B visa does goes along and there is a shortage of workers in the US in medical and technology, I think this will affect the US economy and the national well-being of the US. So the first point is in these sectors, if the H1 does go along, the US stands to lose more than India. Secondly, sir, H-1B visa holders contribute $86 billion to the US local economy. In addition, they contribute 24 billion in federal and 11 billion in local state taxes. This is huge amount of money that is spent in the US economy and helps the US grow. So if you take this money out, the US will suffer exponentially. Third point, sir, one in four foreign nationals are Indian students. If you apply the H-1B rule, and if the Indian and if according to the Trump logic, Indians don't get visa, then I think it will be a blow to US innovation and competitiveness. The US Indian workers will still go abroad, then but they'll probably not choose US. They'll go to other destinations like Canada, Australia, Japan, and the US will suffer. Third, sir, India will feel the shock initially. There's no point about it. But I feel Indian companies like Infosys and TCS have long prepared for this by building local workforces and shifting delivery offshore. So now instead of physically sending skilled workers to the US, I think we will see a greater a shift to offshore delivery and gig workers. The freelancing economy will boom. And obviously, when the freelance economy can work everywhere, if they work in the US, if they don't work in the US, obviously they don't pay taxes to the US economy, they won't be there. US will suffer more. India, on the other hand, obviously, I think will start building up its local workforce, will invest more in their own workforce employees, and we will see a greater amount of people not going to the US, but rather staying in the US, working for remote companies. And I think overall, in the long run, once the shock passes away, India will probably become more better, more self-skilled, and I think the US will suffer more comparatively than India.
Thank you, Daniyal. Thank you for dilating upon this extremely important topic of current affairs, rather world affairs these days, and explaining in detail how this can have implications for US and India, and how the US administration should see it in terms of attracting global talent or even talent from India, because we have discussed that it's the major chunk goes to India. So anyways, so viewers, thank you so much for watching this video. And Daniyal, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and shedding light on this important topic. Stay tuned for more. Join TRACS.